The Xenobiology Ethics course at Centauri University was designed to help future diplomats understand the diverse practices of member species across the galaxy. Professor Veltheri had taught the class for 12 years without incident, discussing everything from Zephyrian crystal cultivation to Altarian mind-melding ceremonies. The course was considered academically challenging but emotionally safe. Then Dr. Sarah Chun, the first human exchange professor, volunteered to give a guest lecture on human companion species, and everything changed. The lecture hall filled with 43 students representing 28 different species, all eager to learn about the mysterious Deathworlder's relationship with other life forms. Most expected a discussion of symbiosis or perhaps hunting partnerships, similar to what other predatory species maintained. Dr. Chen stood at the podium, her characteristically warm human smile, doing nothing to prepare her audience for what was coming. "Today I'd like to talk about pets," she began, activating the holographic display. "Animals that humans keep in their homes for companionship and emotional support." The first image showed a golden retriever sitting in a sunny yard, tongue lolling out in obvious contentment. Several students made appreciative sounds. The creature appeared harmless enough, even endearing. "This is a dog," Dr. Chen explained. "They're descendants of wolves, which were once our primary competitors for territory and prey. We selectively bred them for traits we found appealing." A student from the peaceful Meadowland systems raised a tentacle. "Dr. Chen, did you say wolves were your competitors? As in, rivals for resources?" "That's correct. Wolves are pack hunters like early humans were. But instead of eliminating them, we domesticated them." The hologram shifted to show the evolutionary progression from wolf to modern dog breeds. "Over thousands of years, we turned our greatest rivals into our most loyal companions." The class stirred uneasily. The concept of domesticating competing predators was disturbing enough, but the implications were becoming clear. Humans had somehow convinced apex predators to voluntarily serve them. "But surely this is your only example?" asked Professor Veltheri, her compound eyes reflecting concern. Dr. Chen's smile widened. "Oh no, dogs are just the beginning. Let me show you cats." The hologram displayed a house cat, sleek and graceful, perched on a windowsill. The students relaxed slightly. This creature looked far less threatening than the canines. "Cats," Dr. Chen continued with obvious affection, "are obligate carnivores. Pure predators. They're descended from apex hunters that could kill prey much larger than themselves." The display showed a cat's retractable claws and needle-sharp teeth. "They're basically tiny, perfect killing machines." The crystalline collective's representative made a sound like breaking glass. "And you? Keep these in your homes?" "About 40% of human households do, yes. We find them relaxing." Dr. Chen seemed genuinely puzzled by their shock. "They purr when they're content, which most humans find soothing." "But why do they stay?" pressed a student from the gas giant Zephyrians. "What prevents them from simply leaving or attacking you?" "Well, they could leave if they wanted to. And they do attack sometimes. It's called playing. But we provide food, shelter, medical care, and affection. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement." The class was beginning to understand something that made their various species' survival instincts scream warnings. Humans hadn't just domesticated other species. They had convinced predators to depend on them willingly. "Dr. Chen," Professor Veltheri's voice carried a tremor. "Exactly how many species have humans domesticated?" The professor consulted her notes. "Well, there are dogs, cats, horses, cattle, pigs, sheep, goats, chickens, rabbits, ferrets." She paused, noticing the growing horror in the room. "Is something wrong?" A Vrek student, whose species had never successfully domesticated anything more complex than algae, spoke with barely concealed terror. "Dr. Chen, You're describing a systematic program of converting other species into willing servants. I wouldn't put it that way, Dr. Chen replied thoughtfully. We prefer to think of it as friendship. The silence that followed was profound. 43 alien minds processed the same terrifying realization. Humans didn't conquer other species through force or trickery. They made other species want to serve them. They turned survival instincts into loyalty, predatory nature into protective devotion. And they called it love. As Dr. Chen began explaining how humans had convinced horses, massive, powerful creatures capable of crushing a human with a single kick, to carry them willingly into battle, Professor Veltheri quietly updated the university's threat assessment files. The Deathworlders weren't just physically dangerous. They were something far more unsettling, a species that could turn enemies into family.